You do not sell JPEGs. You don't. You don't sell JPEGs. You actually sell creations. You sell art. You sell photography. You sell things with 3 dimensions. They are not JPEGs, okay? They are not JPEGs. What's up, Instagram? What's up, Facebook? What's up, YouTube? Happy to be with you here for today's live broadcast. And I want to rant a little bit about POD, print on demand, how important it is. I'm going to rant about the fact that you guys do not sell JPEGs, and I'm going to rant about getting your lineup and pricing in order. And this is an extremely important time of year for this because we have Q4, we have the buying season coming. So my job is to do everything that I can to get your art business. Notice I did not say art hobby because I don't want any of you guys to have a hobby unless you want to have a hobby. I want you to have a business, and a business is going to make sales. And if making sales is the goal, your goal, there is no better time to do that than in the months that are going to be here in very, very short order, the last 3 months of the year. So before I get into my rant, quick programming note. I'm back to running webinars 3 days a week. Some of you guys have attended those. Some of you never have. I'd love to have you on one. If you want to come, how does it work? If you're watching on Facebook, watching on Instagram, all you have to do is leave the comment with the words web. So you just type a comment, W-E-B, web, and I will send you an invite to that. So if anybody wants to come, you can certainly do that. And I'm going to pin a comment, and then I'm going to get into my rant about JPEGs. Okay. It's very, very important. And thank you, Equinox, for saying that. It's really, really important. Comment web to join me on a webinar. I should put free webinar so no one gets scared on a free webinar. I'm going to pin this thing on there. Yep. Equinox, you're all dialed in. Anna, you're dialed in. It's going to be on there. Let me just pin this comment. Okay. You guys ready for the rant? It's going to be a good one. You guys are going to like it, I promise. Okay. I need to exhale a little bit. You guys do not sell JPEGs, okay? I just need to say this. What is a JPEG? A JPEG is a digital image, okay? So you cannot expect your potential buyers, okay, to purchase just because they saw a JPEG. That is just not the way that it works. Your buyers, okay, your potential buyers, i.e. people like me, we do not have your visual powers, okay? We cannot see this JPEG, this image that you've created as a JPEG, and visualize it on our wall. We do not have the ability to do that. That is asking way too much of your buyers. So if you're just constantly showing JPEGs instead of the real product, you are running into all kinds of problems, okay? You are making it more difficult on your potential buyer by not showing them what you are actually selling, okay? And I usually use an analogy to take this out. And this is my analogy. Let's say that I just hired you because I own the biggest Japanese knives. Japanese knives are my favorite. The biggest Japanese knives company in Southern California. And I have just hired you to go door to door for me selling the knives, okay? Selling the knives. When you walked up to the front door and knocked on that door, what would you have with you? Would you have pictures of the knives? Or would you have the actual knives to show me? Because let me tell you, if you sold a bunch of knives based on pictures, you don't need to be an artist, okay? You are now the most impressive salesperson in the world, and you better go sell something with high margins. But if you knocked on that door, okay, in trying to sell me knives with pictures of knives, you are not going to sell a single solitary damn thing, okay? No, you would have the knives with you. And it's no different than you guys trying to sell your art and photography. It is literally not any different, okay? That is why you have to wrap your head around the fact that you don't sell JPEGs. No one buys JPEGs, okay? What you sell is a product that has 3 dimensions to it. It is real. People can visualize it. You can show it off. You can show that it's ready to hang. That is what you guys sell. You do not sell JPEGs. And when you get into that mental framework, I'm telling you guys, things are going to go so much easier for you. life is going to be so much easier without having to worry about getting people like us to try and understand this is what you're selling, this physical product, right? And, you know, Q4 is the door that you're going to be knocking on, just to like continue with my knife analogy, right? You're going to be knocking on Q4 doors, all Q4. Okay, Q4, last 3 months of the year, the art buying season, it's coming up. You don't want to do that with empty hands. Okay, what does that mean in practicality? Okay, order samples of your media types. Okay, I've got my stack here, so I'm going to be able to do show and tell, but I cannot begin to tell you how important this is. Okay, there are 5 main media types. Okay, 5. I'm going to talk about them. I'm going to show them to you. I'm going to articulate it. But what I want to show you, okay, is the entire stack. And I've got to get this, make sure it's in my camera. Do you see this? This is an entire stack that I'm able to show you on camera, okay, that goes with me anywhere I go, anytime I'm talking about my art. I've got all 5 of these, okay? And let's talk about what they are broadly. You need a fine art paper, okay? Your fine art paper can be texture, it can be gloss. This one is framed, right? But I'm able to show this off. I'm able to articulate what it looks like, and I'm able to do this in cell phone modality, how you're seeing me right now on this live broadcast, right? So these things are tiny, okay? Where's my doggone phone so I can show it in comparison to my thumb, right? These are not huge. Michael's like, my sculpture is generally 6 foot to 25 feet. Yeah, sculpture. You're in the same boat, Michael. It's just a little bit harder for you to drag that damn sculpture around. But do you see this? This is not a huge sample, okay? My entire stack is freaking tiny, you guys. I can take this with me in a backpack. I could put this with me on an airplane in a carry-on. I could have this in the back of my car. I could take this to my kids' soccer practice. I could take this to every photo shoot that I have. I could take this when I'm outside plein air painting, okay? I could walk with this underneath my arm to the dog park if I'm someone that does dog portraits, right? All right, I want to go back to my rant here, okay? So fine art paper, you need canvas, okay? You need to pick a canvas. You need to be able to show a canvas. You need to be able to articulate what the hell it looks like, why it hangs on a wall. You guys, we are reliant. Your potential buyers are reliant on you to explain to us what the freaking options are, okay? Pardon my French. To explain to us how you are a subject matter expert and what it is you are selling. And you can't be a subject matter expert if you can't show the damn product off, right? Here's a metal print. It goes a little wonky on my green screen, but you can see a metal print, okay? Next, I just dropped one. That's okay. Next, acrylic. Acrylic's beautiful, totally different kind of a glare. Also ready to hang. Also doesn't need a frame. Also drawn on by my small child. The final one I'm going to show, and some of you guys offer wood and some of you don't. But this is a wood print, right? And they're actually really beautiful, and they're kind of cool in garages. People tend to really like them. Anyway, the point is, okay, you guys, and it's a very important point. Order samples of your media type, okay? This entire stack here, okay, only costs like $200 because these things are absolutely tiny. Do I have my tape measure here? Aha! It's going to be totally interactive. Okay. I want you guys to understand that most of these are 5, 6, 7. I'm measuring them all now. 8. One is 6. One is 7.5 framed. These are tiny. Okay. These are tiny. And yet these are the samples that you can show off at any point in time. Right? You can use them in your social media marketing. Okay. You can take them into your car when you go to a client's house to deliver a piece of work. Right? You can take them with you in your carry-on when you're traveling, because when it comes time for you to articulate what my options are as a buyer of your work, don't draw pictures. Don't show me JPEGs, and don't assume that I know what canvas is or the difference between canvas and acrylic and which one I might like better and which one is better in a bathroom because it's covered. You know, like, you need to be able to articulate this and show this off. And it is so impressive when you do. Okay. It is such an easier sale when you do. And there's so many of you guys out there, okay, that are completely completely struggling. And Jews J Photo is like, I would never make samples for people. Are you kidding? Dude, the samples are for you. This is the problem. The samples are for you to have with you at all times so you can articulate to people what options you have in your store. That's what it is. You're not making samples for people to make the sale. No, Jules, you're having them on hand at all times so that your prospective buyers can get an idea of what the heck it is you sell, what it looks like, okay, what the differences are, okay, what's important, and that's the whole ball game. It's not any more difficult than that. And so few artists actually have the samples of all of the media types that they offer on their sites. And I don't know why this is the case. And it's something that I absolutely want to fix. You can invest the 250, 200, 175, 300, depending on which ones you get, into getting this stack. And you don't sell them. Well, you can sell them, actually. If somebody wanted to buy one, I would totally just sell it to them, and then I would reorder it, right? But you don't ever not have your stack. You have your stack with you at all times, right? You know, in an earlier life, I was in the clothing business, and there was like this cut and sew outfit, and they were going to sell a bunch. They wanted to sell us a bunch of these pants and shorts and knitted shirts in a whole bunch of different ways. You know, we put our brand on the shirt and sell it. What did the guy do? He came rolling in with a rack of samples, right? Like when you're at a really, really nice steakhouse, occasionally the waiter will come out with all of the cuts of meat. Like being able to show off what it is that you guys sell, critically important. Okay. And it's something that everyone just glosses over and thinks like, oh, I don't need to do that. Like people totally understand what it is that they're getting. You know, they know the difference between a fine art print and a metal print and an acrylic print and canvas and why one looks better. Like you've got to be the one to explain that to your customers. Okay. Full stop. And I'm going to give you some more reasons why. Okay. Why it's so important. For those that are just joining, by the way, I'm running webinars all week. If you want to come on, get into some education / back and forth / ask questions, whatever questions you have about selling art, about marketing it, you can comment web, just type in WEB in Facebook or Instagram, and I will send you an invite to your DMs. Okay. Now that that's done, let's get back to the Prezi. So, okay, we now know order samples of your media types. Okay. You're going to make them super small, like I just showed you, as small as you can, that works for your size work, right? And you can take these things with you wherever you go, so you can articulate what it is that you sell, get people fired up about it, get people doing the oohing and the on, okay, which is all totally possible when you have samples, because the dates don't move, you guys. Q4, formerly the fourth quarter, the art buying season starts on October 1st. Okay, you got the big days of November 27th is Black Friday, December 25th is Christmas. Really, the whole thing has just become one buying season, and there's not any one date that's better for artists or photographers. It just starts in October and just turns into a selling blitz. In my opinion, strongly held, is that you will do better this Q4 when you have a stack of samples, okay, that are the main media types in which you offer your reproductions on, okay? And the larger point, too, is about reproductions. You know, yes, I've already talked about this. We human beings buy things on the basis of visualization. But I've been on this kick recently, right, where I'm convinced that everyone has studied the masters, right? And the simple, like, you know, if you're an artist, you know Van Gogh. If you're a photographer, you know Ansel Adams. You know everything about who they are, about what they did, about all of those types of things, right? Okay, amazing, fantastic, wonderful. What no one ever does is no one ever studies the masters of business, right? Like, you know, yes, they're more contemporary artists and photographers, but the two that I like talking about, one is Gray Malin. Do you guys know Gray Malin? I think you guys know Gray Malin. Most people do. Let me get my other screen share up here. How am I going to do this? Because I want to show you his whole website to see what he's famous for. How do I do that? I got to get rid of that one. Share screen, window. You don't sell JPEGs? No, that's not it. Where is this doggone thing? I have another little phone that I can share here. Just be patient. Share. Okay. Let me get his website up. Where the heck is this thing? There it is. Okay. So this is Gray Malin, right? And this guy's a photographer. He's been at it for, I think, like 18 years now. Hugely, hugely successful artist. Got a massive, massive business, right? And he's like most known for these images that he's done forever and ever, which are like, they're basically like, that's not what he's most famous for. He's most famous for stuff like this, right? Which are these aerial photos of like super famous beaches. And he's got them all over Europe, all over the US and everything else, right? Okay. So why did I show you that? It doesn't matter if you're talking about Gray Malin, okay, or if you're talking about Weiland, right? And these are the two artists that I like to talk about and like compare here. Like Gray Malin on his site has 4,156 products. Okay. The reason that he has 4,156 products is because he takes an individual image. Okay. He takes an individual image and he turns it into, in Gray Malin's case, 221 different products from one photographic image. Okay. Gray Malin takes one image, and turns it into 221 different product variants. Okay. And you can do the exact same thing with POD. Okay. You look at Weiland. Weiland's got 972 products on 45 different mediums, right? And this is something that you can absolutely do too. Oh yeah, and this guy, why I've got him on here, you know, I was interviewing him on the podcast. John Lowry, his business is called Humble Donkey Studio. He's got this like art gallery in this place called Round Top, Texas, that has population 45 for the town. It's a tiny, tiny little town, but he's got individual originals that he sold for 140 grand, and he's at like 60 and 70 grand in sales on the prints, right? On the prints. And the larger point that I'm making here is that each and every one of you can actually have a fully sophisticated art selling business if you leverage print on demand. Okay. If you leverage print on demand, you can have 7 to 10 images, you guys, that you're really proud of, that you really want to lead with, and that you really want to sell. And you can turn that into a store that has 700 different products on it, right? And you know, I throw the numbers out like somewhat willy-nilly. The having the numbers part is sort of irrelevant. What's important is you can have a very sophisticated lineup in your art business as a result of leveraging print on demand. This would be very, very difficult to do in a world where print on demand is not an option, right? Because what do you have otherwise? You've got 7 originals, right? Or if you're a photographer, you know, you'd have more than that because it's easier for photographers to do prints than artists. Not really, but a little bit, because you have the digital image. So the point is, in all of this, it's time to leverage POD, okay? Before Q4 is the #1 time of the year where you want to be thinking about this and doing this, is getting your lineup in order ahead of the busy art buying season. I'm going to be running webinars all week, this week, next week, the week after, all the way in the run up to Q4. You want to learn more, you want to come on to one of those, it's totally free. Just leave a comment with the words web. You just type web. I made it stupid easy, WEB, and I'll send you an invite. You can come learn some more, come learn about advanced pricing techniques and tactics. And it's all about how are you going to get up, running, and ready for Q4, because it's coming. Thanks for watching, you guys. Have a great rest of your day.